Hey, you guys. Um, I've seen a couple people posting a video that was a little news clip aired on ABC News. I've tried Googling for the printed press release article that would be associated with this, but I can't find it. So I'll put a link to the video I'm referencing below this. Anyway, I wanted to address it because I had a customer the other day that she was a oncology nurse, and we had a long discussion about people that I know that have had cancer, like my father, who died from it. They gave him 6 months to live, and he made it for 10 years. My friend Lori, who they told her that she was in the last stages of cancer and she wasn't going to live, and she decided that yes, she was. She wanted to see her son graduate. They both had gotten into eating more whole foods, herbal remedies, tinctures, teas, um, meditations. And Lori is still with us to this day, and that was 15 years ago. Um, and it's come back like twice on her, and she kicks it, you know, completely each time. Anyway, the oncology nurse was telling me that right now really wasn't a good time for her to buy something because her income was about to change because she was leaving the hospital. And let me tell you what, I don't know that I'm allowed to say where she worked at. Um, I guess I can. Well, anyway, I won't. But it's a very, very, very well-known, successful hospital, not too far from me here, a little bit northeast, and it's been around forever and a day. Probably one of the top hospitals that you could ask to work at if you were an oncology nurse in our part of the country. And she was leaving being a nurse because she's starting up a consultation business where she's going to work with oncology patients, cancer victims, to help them fight their cancers. She said that she has told patients before, you need to eat more fruits and vegetables. Don't go to McDonald's. Don't go to Burger King. You need to do more of this than to do that. Like she's tried to talk to them about getting your body alkaline more so than acidic. And she says she's gotten in trouble by the doctors that come in and they're like, don't be telling my patients that. And she's like, what's wrong with telling your patients to eat more broccoli? You know, I mean, so I said, are you telling me that it's true that they don't want you to take the proper steps to truly be healthy? And she continued on with me with the conversation that the pharmaceutical companies are in the business to keep you sick, and that doctors have to have patients in order to be in business. And she said it's very much true. She said they don't want you to die. They just want you to stay sick and keep needing them. So there's a certain plateau level that it's their job to keep you at. Uh, and then I was just watching a couple, I watched one of the videos and then I saw several people had mentioned it. ABC News did a little snippet um, that the FDA is considering reducing the amount of side effects that have to be disclosed on the commercials on TV for medications. Now, I got two parts to that. First of all, when I was a kid, a teenager, and in my early 20s, it was your doctor's job to talk to you about medications. You didn't have to know everything. You didn't have to know, don't mix this one with this one. That was your doctor's job. But now, suddenly, the last couple decades, people watch these commercials and they're like it's a product, like it's a new tennis shoe coming out. They're like, oh, look at the pretty green butterfly flying through the fields, and she's laying there on her bed sleeping so deeply. I wish I could do that. And they're visually seeing this beautiful scene, or maybe it's, grandma at the park with her grandkids and she's suddenly throwing balls and stuff and happy and laughing. And while you're seeing that visual, that very positive reinforcement, comforting visual, the verbiage that's coming through is, may cause lunacy, cancer, heart failure, heat stroke, diabetes, nerve damage, blah, 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 blah. This whole long list of side effects. So the FDA is saying that they're thinking about toning down how many side effects need to be listed because they think maybe there's a problem with consumers having become so hardened to it. Like, what do you call it? You're so used to something that you don't even pay attention to it anymore. Um, I was just on the highway today, and yesterday I've had a crazy couple of days, but to give you an example, Mike and I were going down the interstate, and I said, you know what? I just thought of something. When I was a kid, all the way up through my early to mid-teens, if you saw more than 3 semi trucks together on the highway, that was a convoy. There's no such thing as a convoy anymore because anytime you're on the interstate, semis are like every vehicle, like 2 out of 3 vehicles. It's the cars that are the minority, and it's nonstop. It was such a slow buildup in many ways that you just didn't notice it from year to year. But if you visualize back 20, 30 years, jump forward, you notice it. So the FDA is saying that they're considering doing this, and I'm not sure if the reason that they're giving is genuine. It makes sense. People have become so used to hearing all the side effects that they don't even pay attention anymore. But is that really worse than just not hearing it at all? At least some people that are awake and give a damn have an option to listen. I mean, because of the pharmaceutical ads, to be honest with you, I don't go to the doctor. I don't. I do not go to the doctor. I will have to be in extremely poor shape, like with something like a broken bone. You know, I'm not even sure if I was diagnosed with something serious, I don't know that I would follow through with the doctor's instructions. This oncology nurse really solidified almost everything that I thought I knew. My conspiracy theory in my head that a lot of people joke at me about, oh, vaccines are good for you, kind of a thing. And after talking to her and knowing the truth about people that have been close to me surviving cancer and how they did it, and it was through not succumbing to 100% doctor's orders, and knowing the history of my family's longevity, so I got good genes, and knowing that every time I see a commercial for medication, it's something that's going to cause 15 other potential side effects that you're going to have to get medication for, times 15 more, because then and I've seen the people with their purse full of prescriptions and bottles, and they've got to get little tells them take these on Monday morning, Monday afternoon, Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, because they can't even keep up with it. And I'm not on anything other than if I get a headache, I might take an Advil, Tylenol, or etc. And that's even limited. So my medicine's right here, And hey, say what you want about it, but so far, knock on wood. Anyway, I'm going to put the link below to the video that I'm referencing that I saw, and I just found it ironic that my very last client I spoke to before I started on my days off this week was an oncology nurse, and she told me passionately that yes, it is the pharmaceutical's job to keep you sick in order for them to stay in business. The doctors need sick patients in order to stay in business. They don't want you to die. They just don't want you to not need them. So, anyway, hope you guys are good. Talk to you very shortly. I've got a few other things on my mind.